I'll introduce the lab with a short video, very short video. Okay. Let me restart it. Is it clear now, the video?
Yeah, dear.
Yeah, okay. So this is the security engineering lab. We have lots of research area. And we have lots of publications and top journals. As you can see, this is the lab. It's equipped with a lot of facilities. We have developed several tools and lots of data sets, as you can see. We have lots of funded projects, above 60,000 projects. And we have conducted too many competitions in the cybersecurity. We have a lot of security awareness programs, and one of them is the Cybersecurity Club, along with lots of initiatives. With us, we have more than 300 students registered in the Cybersecurity Club. And we have organized too many workshops with top expertise. So this is our lab, the Security Engineering Lab. Okay. And along with that, we introduced in the video, one of the cell lab is to invite top expertise to provide our students with the most recent industrial, technical, and risk management skills. Today, the main topic of the workshop is the technical part that will be introduced by Ms. Yara Alhumaidan. Ms. Yara, she's an expert in this field, in the cybersecurity. MashaAllah, she has too many certifications. She is a certified red team professional. She is certified presentation testing consultant. She has the ITIL certificate. And the list is very, very long. She's CMP, and she has several Cisco certifications. She's also has experience in research fields. She has published a paper entitled Analysis of Cloud Computing Security in Perspective of Saudi Arabia. So please welcome Ms. Yara with us. Welcome you, Ms. Yara. And I'll leave the floor for you to start the presentation.
Thank you so much.
Sorry.
السلام عليكم جميعا. صوتي واضح؟
Yes, very clear.
Good.
Of course, you can provide the workshop in Arabic or in English. It's up to you. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. Okay, just 1 second. Let me share the screen. Is the screen clear now?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so بالبداية, I would like to thank the Prince Sultan University for this initiative they're doing for the students, and I'm very glad to be a part of it, actually. Thank you so much.
Welcome you, Ms. Yara. This is our pleasure. Yeah.
Sure. Before I start, I've been told that there are non-Arabic speakers, so the session mainly will be in English. Hopefully, all of us will get as much knowledge and benefits as possible. Okay, Bismillah. Okay, who am I? This is funny because who am I is the only technical thing I will be telling this session. Who am I is a command line we use in Windows or Linux or whatever. When you type who am I in a command or this black screen, it will print out the user using this session or using this or the user logged in, currently logged in. You can all try it when the session is over. You can open the CMD or the black screen. And when you type who am I, it will print out the current user you are logged in. So we use this in IT to, like, we present ourselves, who am I, this Yara. So I am an MIS graduate. I graduated from Imam Abdurrahman bin Faisal University in 2018. I'm currently working on site as a penetration testing consultant. I hold a number of certificates in management and IT, and I didn't try the certificate because it's too long. Thank you, Abir. She actually did tell you all of the certificates. Okay, today we're gonna talk about cybersecurity introduction, brief description about cybersecurity, and then I will be giving you also a brief description about the major areas in cybersecurity. What are you expecting to work on when you join the cybersecurity fields? Because cybersecurity does not only includes the ethical hacking, it does includes other work aspects and job descriptions that are very interesting. Also, a day in a penetration testing job, because this is what I actually yeah, work on the penetration testing, and I will be talking in too much detail about the penetration testing job. Second, I will be telling a short story about how I shifted from an MIS graduate to working in penetration testing, because as an MIS graduates, you all know that we study half of the courses as management and the other half as an IT. So there was a lot of lacking the knowledge when I graduated. So this is what I will be talking about. Finally, some recommendations and expectations if you want. Okay, what is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is the protection of internet connected and systems. When I say internet connected system, it's not only the laptop you're using, it's not only the laptop or the mobile application. It can be as much detail as possible, like the network you're using, the wireless access point, the cards you're using to access your hotel rooms. These all these things can be hacked. So the organizations or the companies need to protect internet and cannot be accessed. For example, attackers or any malicious entities uh, to ensure the protection of these systems. The major areas I'm gonna mention today. First, I will start with the DFIR, or the Digital Forensics and Incident Response. I want you to think of DFIR as the Sherlock Holmes. I know most of you guys know Sherlock Holmes. He is this detective who come after the murder happened, and then it will try to collect as many evidence as possible, and then he will give conclusion about how the murder happened, who is the murderer, and he will solve the whole investigation. So the DFIR, they do the same thing, but not with murders, but with an incident. So when there's a breach in the entity or the organization, whenever there is an attacker inside, the data has been exposed. So the organization will use the DFIR knowledge to try and tell them how the attacker get access into the organization, what was the weaknesses that this attacker actually leveraged into accessing this organization, what was the data exposed, what is the the hacker interest, what is what the user actually the attacker, sorry, search for when gaining access into this organization, what are the assets has been stolen, and all this information the DFIR team will try to provide the company. And this is very critical, because once the organization know how the attacker actually get access into their company, they can close up and they can patch on all these issues they're having in order to protect from any future incidents happening in the organization. Next, there's a SOC, Security Operations Center. It's very similar to DFIR, but uh, they have other job descriptions. I know some of you guys have seen these screens in movies where screens show some pie charts and very large screen in the wall. And I want you to know that these screens are actually true. We have it here in the SOC operations. The SOC Operations Center, their main job is to watch these screens and to try to know any behavior that is suspicious. So these screens will be showing the activities in the organization, any network activity, any user trying to log in, any failed login attempts. It will all be shown in these screens, and the SOC analysts will watch these screens and will try to identify anything that's suspicious, anything that's not normally normal behavior. For example, if there is a user trying to log in and there is a 10 failed attempts for this user, this is usually it's not normal. A user can only have, for example, 3 login attempts. When you type in English or in Arabic, for example, you make some mistakes in typing your password, capital letters, small letters, whatever. But having 10 failed attempts and for example, let's say 1 minute, this is very suspicious behavior. So the SOC analyst here will immediately will alert the organization, and of course they will take the first responding in this attack. For example, they will it depends on the account or the situation, but for example, in this scenario, they will lock the user account, or they will contact the user to ensure is this him trying to log in, or it's some malicious activity, and then the process will be long in identifying and closing up this incident. Okay. After that, we have the cybersecurity engineering. The cybersecurity engineering, also, I wanted to think of it as the actual engineers who build the buildings and make all these constructions. But in our case, the cybersecurity engineering, they will build the defense mechanism for the organizations. For example, they will tell the organizations where the firewall should be set, where the data center should be located, and this, for example, the chart of the organization, the organizational chart, because there are some best practices that should be followed. There are some let's say assets that shouldn't be internet facing, and a user should not be accessing, for example, some sensitive data when he's at home. No, he should be only accessing sensitive data when he is in the network in the organization, for example. So this is the work of cybersecurity engineering. He will try to map on this organizational chart, identifying where is the security mechanism defenses should be located in the organizational chart. Okay, a day in the life of penetration tester, which is a day in the life of Yara, basically, because this is my profession and site. Okay, uh, so inside or in a job of a penetration tester, we usually have many requests of doing a lot of jobs, a lot of let's say proactive jobs, because the penetration tester job is proactively. We work before the incidents happen, unlike the other work areas I've been describing previously, the DFIR, the SOC analyst. They work constantly in, in defending this organization, either currently, concurrently, like the SOC, or after the incident happened, like DFIR. The engineering and the penetration testing, they work proactively. They work before the incidents happens. So in penetration testing, we work in network. So I wanted to think of a network like the wireless and the network home, for example, you're using. This network is very critical because, for example, you have a printer, you have, for example, I don't know, a server. Of course, you will not be having a server at home, but for the organization, they're of course going to have servers for data, for user information. So these all should be protected in the network field. So we will be ensuring, as a penetration testing consultants, we will be ensuring that these systems are fully protected by doing some malicious activities towards these systems. So we will try, as a penetration testing, to hack into this database, for example, or whatever. And if we are successful in hacking these systems, then these systems are not fully protected, and we will provide this entity with a full report on how we get access and what was the weaknesses and how they can close up these weaknesses, and ensuring that any real attacker cannot access such devices or assets. Also, websites. Any website you're using, from Google to your favorite I don't know, shopping website, whatever, any website. We also test these websites because websites are very very rapid in all the cybersecurity fields, because it's the most used assets in organizations. For example, if you take one organization and you count how many websites they have countless websites. So the website it will the websites are very critical to make sure that they are fully protected. Also, it's mobile application. We work also on ensuring the mobile application you are using in your phone mobile are fully protected. They don't have any, for example, backdoor. They don't have any breaches. They don't also store user information. For example, we in one engagement we were having last year, there were some mobile application that storing user information in clear text. So any user information are stored in this application in clear text, which is a huge problem for them. Especially the information used is very critical and very sensitive. So this is also an area field we actually focus on, the mobile application. It's either iOS application or even Android applications. Wireless devices. Any wireless devices you can think of, is able to be hacked, is able to be breached. Let's say the example I've mentioned before, the access card for your hotel room, for example. This card works with wireless antennas. So when you try to access your room, you're using this card as a wireless device, the device on the door. You've been we in penetration testing have been using this wireless activities to make this as malicious as possible. For example, let me give you an example. In 2 months from now, we had an engagement also with one of the hotels in Saudi Arabia, and we successfully managed to clone these cards, and we get access to any room using these cloned cards. So this is very critical, because any attacker can steal any cards, or even can register as a legitimate guest and have one card, and then he can clone the card and have access to any room in the hotel as he wish. And this is very critical issue. Also, in the wireless fields, we have the cameras. For example, this camera you see in malls or in anywhere you can see any cameras. These cameras also can be hacked using this wireless penetration testing, because when we test penetration testing in wireless, anything in using wireless antennas can be accessed or breached, for example. So the wireless area is very rich and have many information as possible. I only gave you a brief, but yeah, it's very, very important. Last but not least, the people. People can be hacked, and it's the most used technique in real attacks is to hacking people, and we give it a terminology. We call it wait a minute. Social engineering. Yeah, we give it social engineering, because you are trying to hack actual humans. But I know you're thinking as it's not an actual hack, but when you send, for example, a fish email saying that did you win a prize or whatever, and then this user actually clicks on the link, then it will be hacked for in less than a minute. And this is the most used technique in all the cybersecurity breaches. If you read about it, the most used technique is sending phishing emails and the users clicking on these emails. Also, you see recently these attacks on WhatsApp. They're using also phishing because they're phishing the user's information, and then they're getting the phone number or the pen number in WhatsApp, and then they're gaining access into the WhatsApp account. Some limitless scenarios and how to hack people, but it's very, very critical also aspects. And we as a penetration tester, we test all these aspects and the organization. It depends, of course, it depends on the organization. If they don't have, for example, wireless devices, they don't have cameras, they don't have these cards, then we will be focusing on network, website, for example, mobile, and so on. But mainly, these are the main areas. I'm going to say the main areas because there are also some aspects I did not mention here that we are also testing and penetration testing. Okay, my journey on how I shifted from MIS with a business background because I graduated from CBA, the College of Business Administration, in Imam Abdul Rahman Faisal University. And the CBA college, I think PSU have actually the same college also, and they have MIS graduates. I'm not sure, but yeah, so how I shifted from MIS to penetration testing. So this was the timeline. I know it seems really easy, but believe me, it wasn't. So first, I first known about the cybersecurity field and cybersecurity and course on a university I've been taking in 2018 with I saw a picture of of Dr. Modi Jama. So Dr. Modi Jama was actually my instructor in the university, and she gave me this course on cybersecurity when she was teaching in the MAM University. After that, I fell in love with cybersecurity, and I know for a fact that I'm going to work on cybersecurity when I graduate. Even though I know nothing about IT, I know nothing about uh, anything technical because, as I said, my study was half of it in management, so no technical knowledge. After that, in 2018, in March, I published a research paper about cybersecurity. It was actually a requirement for, excuse me, it was a requirement for the course, for the cybersecurity course. As a requirement, Dr. Molly asked us to make a research paper. She didn't actually request us for to publish it, but she only requested to make the research paper. And when I made this research paper, she actually pushed me to publish it in IEEE, and alhamdulillah, it was published. Um, After that, in December, I know for a fact that I need to fully study more about the cybersecurity fields, because if I apply now and that time, if I would applied in cybersecurity jobs with this knowledge that I had in 2019, no company will look at my CV because my CV was management. All the CV was about management. I know there was some cybersecurity this research, but still no actual knowledge was there. So I needed to make it clear in the CV that I was interested and I was willing to learn. So I took 1 month and I studied Security Plus, and I was certified Security Plus by the end of the month. And now I can happily apply to jobs. Of course, there was other learning journeys on the way. Whenever I read something interesting about cybersecurity, I would try it on my own. I would try to do it. I would try to follow the instructions, and I will try to do my best in gaining as much knowledge as I have. And then in 2019 in January, there was some side GDP program. I joined gratefully, and it was 8 months. It was very intense. Maybe this was, I can say, this was the major shifting in my career, because the amount of information gained in this area was um, countless. And then I graduated in 2021, September, and I was working on site ever since. Okay, so some recommendations. Always learn and improve yourself. Uh, Personal skills is key because, as I said, even if you have some certification in the CV, or even if you were willing to learn, but you do not have the skills to actually present yourself in the interview, because the CV can get you the interview, but the interview cannot get you the job if you are not actually presented well in the interview. You need to sell yourself to these companies in order to hire you in their organizations. Finally, set a clear plan and keep recording your progress, because progress is very important. Setting a plan but not recording your progress and doing this plan and not crossing things out of the plan will not get you the results. You need to always measure your progress. Are you actually doing the things you said you would do, or it's just some ink on papers? And yeah, okay. Thank you for listening. I hope I did not take so much of your time. Okay. Please, if anyone have any questions, anything I can help with.
Thank you, Ms. Yara, for such an amazing and inspiring, honestly, talk. You mentioned Dr. Modi. Dr. Modi was our
Yeah,
guest
I saw
last
her
year.
picture. Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw her picture.
yeah, and
Very
she also
inspiring.
gave us very inspiring talk. So
Yeah.
now I will leave the floor for our students if they have any question.
Yes, can I ask one question?
Yes, sure, doctor. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Ziara, for your good presentation. I would like to ask about do there is any software tools are common for used for penetration testing purpose in IoT applications?
Hello, Dr. Walid. Thank you so much for the question. So you're asking about any IoT tools we are using in penetration testing. So in IoT, we're mainly we treat IoT devices as network devices because they use internet. And then we use some tools, for example. Of course, the main tool we're going to use is Kali Linux. I'm not sure if you're all familiar with Kali Linux or not, but Kali Linux, we're going to use it. And then in Kali Linux, it's a distribution in Linux iOS and Linux OS. There are some tools, for example, Nmap. We're gonna first, for example, we're gonna see what are the ports open in these IoT devices, and then you can then, when you know what are the ports, what are the services using in these IoT devices, you can then uh, draw an attack that are focuses on these softwares. Because let me tell you this, the softwares and the applications used in these IoT device or any device, usually the first weakness we always see is unpatched system. So when you know the system, when you know the version of the system, immediately you go search for any vulnerabilities for that system. and 99% of the time you're going to find that it's vulnerable for an attack, whatever, either it's a high attack or critical or weak. But yeah, this is the methodology we use in the IoT.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, Ms. Yara, we have a question in the chat box from Abdulaziz. Okay, Abdulaziz, are you here? Can you get time? He's saying, as mentioned, there are a lot of CYS fields. Do you suggest to focus on any particular one from the beginning as a student, yani? Or have a general knowledge firstly, then get specialized?
This is a very interesting question, Abdulaziz. I think, from my knowledge, that some fields I mentioned before, for example, the DeFi or the SOC, they are more focused into specific jobs. They're not as general as some other fields. Let me say this. So I think starting first as a penetration tester, because penetration testing is let me say the main or the big apple in the garden. So when you study penetration testing, and then you can easily shift to let me say DeFi or SOC, because they are a portion of the whole picture, which is the penetration testing or the ethical hacking. So I would say this, but if you from now, from this exact moment, you get and you fell in love with, let me say, DeFi or SOC, then it's better if you studied that sector from now, because you will not you will shortcut your path into getting the job you want, because you want DeFi, then immediately go for DeFi. But if you're not sure which area field you might be interested on, or might be interesting to you, then I would suggest starting with penetration testing as a first major, and then shifting out from there to any other field. It's going to be not as hard as shifting from let me say DeFi to penetration testing, and so on.
Thanks. Yes. Can I ask a question?
Sure, please.
Yes. Thanks, Ms. Yara, for sharing your experience. Actually, I have a question regarding you said about something that like wireless card that you can clone to hack the wireless systems or something like this, right?
Yes.
Yes. Do you recommend like some simulators that, for example, if I want to learn this technique, or do you recommend some simulators, open source simulators that we can use, for example, to try to hack, to do the same thing but in simulation environment?
Okay, this is a very good question, Muhannad. Let me say,
Yes.
the wireless cards is a physical thing. So I don't think that there would be some simulators that will give the exact experience. If you want to try to get into this the wireless cards attacks, or we say as RFID cloning. If you want to search about it, RFID cloning, yeah. And there are some devices and hacking devices we use. For example, you can write it on the Proxmark 3. These Proxmark,
Proxmark.
yeah. The Proxmark is the device we use to clone, and there are some very interesting features in the Proxmark. It not only can clone it, but can sniff it also. For example, you are in an elevator and you are the hacker. You can wear you can wear a backpack, and you can put the Proxmark in the backpack. Anyone in the elevator with a card that can be sniffed, it's going to be sniffed and going to be sent and whatever. So there is actually limitless amount of scenarios you can use in Proxmark. But for the question, I think I'm not sure if there is actually simulators or not. I cannot say if there is, but the wireless card is a physical device. So I think you should have like a physical card, and then you go try it on. You can like buy for 300 riyals or whatever the door, the RFID door lock. And then you can try it at home, or you can you can go pick yourself a hotel room in one of the hotels and try it there.
Yes.
But don't say Yara told you that, please.
Okay, thanks, Miss Yara.
Sure, of course.
Thanks for the information.
Thank you, Ms. Yara. Just for our student, Ms. Yara was kidding, okay? We cannot do any hacking without taking official permission. Okay, Ms. Yara, we have a question in the chat box.
Yeah, let me read it for a minute.
Yeah.
There are lots of CYS fields. No, I did this. Okay, when you begin your career in CYS, what certificates would you recommend to start with? Okay, this is a very tough question because certificates change, and the work actually also change. So if you want, for example, let me say, if you want to join, you don't want to join a GDP program. You want to actual job and actual employment, an actual employment seat in a company. Then you cannot take an introductory certificate. But there are some certificates I can give the name of it. It depends also in your knowledge. You want some technical knowledge, how to do stuff, or you want some methodologies and not so technical. The Security Plus wasn't so technical certificate. It was only some knowledge about cybersecurity. It gives you the theoretical aspects you need to start. And then there are some certificates I can recommend. However, I need you also to go and research and make your research, because my certificates may not be suitable in your situation. But for a beginner certificates in technical, there are the PTS certificates and e-learn security, which is penetration testing students. It's a very beginner friendly certificates, and it's a technical certificates. So I think PTS is good for a fresh start, and then from PTS. The number of certificates are limitless in cybersecurity. I think the path will be much clearer once you get the foots on the cybersecurity fields.
Excuse me, Ms. Yara, if I can just continue with my question. I wanted to add to my question. Right now, during presently, right now, in the working environment, I've noticed since you stated that certificates, there are many certificates out there for people to grab. I wanted to make sure, even if you get a job in in a firm that you want or anywhere, do you still work hard to get the other security certificates for a higher place, or is it just based on your experience, and your experience is enough from working from day to day?
Very, very good question, Faisal. It depends on the organization. Some organizations, they focus on the work you're delivering. They focus on the knowledge you're gaining and delivering in new projects and delivering any new challenge engagements. If you are gaining knowledge, it doesn't have to be certificates. This is the question. Doesn't have to be certificates. If you're actually gaining knowledge, then it will be reflected on the work you're delivering. Your work is going to be much more much more better. I'm gonna say better. But some organizations, no, they focus on the number of certificates. You need to have a specific number of certificates each year. They require you to take, for example, 2 certificates, 3 certificates, and so on, in order for you to get promoted or whatever. But certificates in cybersecurity are not as easy as it seems. It's very hard. So when a person actually gain a certificate, we know as a community in cybersecurity, this certificates are hard, is very hard to get. So when you get the certificates, we know that you have a certain amount of knowledge attached to the certificate. So we immediately know that you are actually have the knowledge. But it doesn't require you to take the knowledge, but it does require you for you to continuously keep learning, because it's a very rapid field. The knowledge you have now, it's not going to be worth after 2 years or 3 years from now, because it's going to be changing immediately. New attacks are going to come, new tools are going to come. So the knowledge are always going to be there. You're always going to have to make yourself learning every year, new techniques and new tools and so on. But certificates, not so important. As I said, the knowledge is very important.
All right, thank you, Ms. Yara.
Sure, of course.
Okay, I think Aslan, we're running out of time. Within a few minutes, students have to go for their classes. On behalf of Dr. Iman, the leader of the Cybersecurity Club, I would like to extend my appreciation for you, Ms. Sarah, for such a great workshop and for giving us your time. Really, it was a great opportunity for our students to hear like the recent requirements of the field. Really, thank you very much for such an amazing workshop. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. Glad. Thanks.
Welcome. Okay, students, any question? This last chance, last call?
I do have a question actually.
Yeah, please.
So I wanted to ask, when is the best time to start specializing in a specific field? So for example, the penetration testing, etc. What's the perfect time? Do you suggest the first year, the second year? Like what year exactly?
You mean year of in university or after after graduating?
Both. Whatever you find the best year. Do you think the best year is after university, before you graduate, after?
Oh, okay. For me, I think after, because the penetration the cybersecurity field itself is linked to the IT field. This is what I was missing once I graduated, because in cybersecurity, if you know, like for example Java, if you know PHP, if you know the operating systems, how does they work, and so on, you have a very advantage over other people who do not have this knowledge.
Yeah, we lost the.
Who
Yeah.
does not have the knowledge yet. They need to catch up with this fields of learning other IT aspects. So I think gaining the IT aspects, gaining the introductory IT knowledge, and then studying penetration testing, and then after gaining the knowledge and ethical hacking, getting familiar with the operating system we use, which is Kali Linux, and then it's going to be much easier for you to switch for other specified field, DFIR or SOC or whatever, and actually specifying also in fields in specialized in mobile application penetration testing or other fields. It's going to be much easier for you if you have the basic knowledge of IT, the basic knowledge of penetration testing, and then you can choose whatever fields you wish to be specified in.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
Sure, of course.
Okay, do we have any other question? So if not, I think by this we will conclude our workshop. Thank you very much, Ms. Yara. It was really a really great workshop, and we wish that we will have more in the future, more cooperations, inshallah. Thank you very much, Ms. Yara.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, you too.